keep my chat up here. Nope.
All right. Hi, everybody. We are live. Cool. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. I am Blank from Saves vs. Death, and with me today, or maybe I'm with him, or some way.
We're with each other.
We're with each other. Ryan from Tavern Under The Stairs. Hey. We have some people in chat. Heyo.
Oh, we got people in chat. That's amazing. Hello,
Yeah.
chat.
Since our chats are different, you'll have to tell me if they ask questions, and I'll.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
watching mine over here on this side with my iPad, so we'll see.
Okay. Oh, you're watching mine on your iPad?
No, I'm watching my stream manager on it, so I can actually see what's going on.
Gotcha. Well,
by the way, to your community, thank you for all the follows I got from. I see there's at least one or two there, so appreciate that. Thank you as well for following.
Cool.
All the numbers look nice. You know how it is.
Yeah, they definitely help. You have affiliate, don't you? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That's my try hard pants a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a grind to get there. The next 50 are still hard for me.
No, man, that's. But once you get them in waves, like one day you'll have like 100, and the next time you look up, it's like 150, 200, and then there's what the hell? What did I do? Y'all are really consistent, right? Y'all, I mean, your group is really consistent.
Every Saturday, we pretty much never miss. Yeah.
That's good, man.
But we only do the one day, and then we have like special events like this. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start a special event of my own, like this. This talking bit seems like a pretty good space as well.
Yeah, it's cool. When we normally, we've only really done this talk. Well, I'm all over the place right now. We've done a few talking sessions. Some have been Q&As. One in particular that we did not too long ago is the Night City Sofa, which is this format we're doing now. But anyway, was reviewing some of the extra content that Artel Saurian releases every month. Artel Saurian is the maker of Cyberpunk, which is what we play.
Right.
So they release like free DLC every month, and we just took some time to like review it. And the last one was really cool because we actually had one of the writers, the media guy from Artel Saurian, come to our stream and like start typing.
No shit.
Chatting with us. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's a good feeling, man.
It was so cool. We were like freaking out all internally, but yeah. It was insane.
Butts has entered the chat, has just joined my chat.
Great. Oh, very nice.
Probably my friend Matt. Has like 7 personalities and has a character concept about every week. Or no, excuse me, every other day.
Oh, one of those guys.
Yeah. He's an alcoholic.
Alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can kind of feel that. I think that maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not the same for you, but as a GM, like I feel that draw to make new characters frequently.
Well, okay, so that's the thing about being a GM, right? That you want to you have that alcoholic mindset because you're constantly thinking about
new characters.
Okay, this city, my friend, this group of idiots is about to go visit a city. Who's going to get mad at them? Who's going to like them? Who's going to want to kill them? You got to think to yourself. And I mean, there's a ton of great stuff out there. If you've never picked up the Book of Vile Darkness from 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons, you should definitely read it. I've got the PDF if you want it. By the way,
nice.
Really helps with character crafting.
Interesting. I think I owned it once upon a time, but somewhere along the way I lost all my 3.5 things. And thanks for the raid, Teddy. Appreciate that, buddy. Good to see ya, and good to see you too, Cade Vazir. I hope I said that right.
Just go and just stab at it in the dark. It's fine.
Yep. Book of Vile Darkness is one I definitely had. I don't know if I read it in depth. There was so much content for 3.5. It was like got overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's pretty. They even say in like the first few chapters of the book, it's like, hey, we're writing this. We do not support any of this.
Oh, okay.
We don't support bestiality
Probably wise for them to
out there.
do,
Yeah,
considering the stigmas in the 80s.
Well, the contrast, I mean, the context of it, that book it's pretty rough. If you read over it, like some of the, because I have a hard time with villains, especially. Like I'm the kind of, I'm not a DM that's like trying to kill my players. I don't do that.
Oh.
I usually give them, well, I say usually, I'm going to give them, typically in all my campaigns, the first 10 levels to really learn. And after that, I told them the wheels are off, training wheels are off. But even still, I have a hard time just being a complete asshole and just murdering. And, unlike Conan, where I could just drop them off of a fucking mountain when they piss me off.
Sure.
I don't feel like, I think people are too invested in their characters in Dungeons and Dragons. So
No, they definitely are. That's one of the problems. So I actually just took the training wheels off for my players as well, or I just gave them the heads up, like, hey, I'm getting rid of the light rules. If you die, you die. And
yeah.
They are invested in Cyberpunk 2, says Jess, who's one of my players.
Fantastic.
And they definitely are invested, but Cyberpunk is like a hardcore game, man. And death is a present force, or it should be a present force. Yeah. Always. And that's true in D&D too. But yes, you had training wheels. Give me a break. You almost died at the very beginning of the campaign. I took it easy on you. I took your hand away. That's all.
You got away with just a missing hand. You're not doing too bad.
Exactly. I just blew off her hand in the second session.
Oh, well. That'll show them.
Yeah. I sound a lot meaner than I think. I think I'm a lot nicer than I'm being portrayed right now. It was the second session. I'm pretty sure it was the second.
Players tend to view DMs with a little bit of high regard and also fear, and also tend to paint you into a corner that you may not have put yourself in. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, my players would say I'm mean to them because I did melt one of my players with a beholder with a disintegration ray.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Well, it happens.
Yeah. Don't stand in front of the cone, man. That's what it does.
Exactly. Don't stand in the middle of a gang or gang territory and try to beat up people. I just recently had a player. So spoilers, by the way. I just recently had a player die. So it's funny that we've brought up, we're right on to this topic. And yeah, I did a lot to, well, at least I think I did, to, try to make them aware that this was going to be a really bad situation soon. But,
right.
They stuck around and they lost big.
Well, I'm hoping my players are going to continue to hang out. I had an evangelical moment for myself, or for my players and myself, when I first started, because are you a fan of Critical Role?
Oh yeah, I love Critical Role. They're great.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that I got into the most, was the way that Mercer is kind of, I look at him as a Tolkien-esque mind. He thinks about everything in depth, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I got super into D&D, was through watching that. And I don't know, man, I just had a lot of admiration for him.
Dude, Matt Mercer is, he's really the best of the best. Do you know Brendan Lee Mulligan from Dimension 20. Yeah, he's really good too.
He's a fucking, that dude is a maniac.
Yeah,
He's
he
an
kind of
absolute
is.
maniac.
He kind of is. But he's fun to watch. He's super fun to watch.
Well, did you watch the four-sided dive with him and Brie Iyengar and Mercer?
No, I haven't watched a lot of the extra stuff yet.
He's such an intense person though, because that's the thing about Mercer. Mercer has a good presence. He's like really.
He's laid back, right?
Yeah, he's very laid back.
Yeah.
But Brennan, man, dude, he come out the gate with Exandria Calamity, and the first thing he said was like fire, and everybody's like, he was at the table because he was just like screaming at him and shit, like he ripped off somebody's skin off their face. It was fucking bananas.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's way cool. I did not. I knew he hosted on Critical Role just recently, but I'm not caught up.
That's their fourth shot they did for the Calamity. So they it was a precursor to Exandria. It's like how the flying cities fell and stuff.
Teddy says, if you aren't into D&D and want a good comedy, Dungeons and Daddies is a good entry as well.
My buddy Matt,
heard them, but
entered Butts
intro
guy from my chat over here. He actually turned me on to Dungeons and Daddies. He listens to a lot of those podcasts that are out there.
Oh, nice.
That's the thing too about RPG space that I'm used to with coming from Conan, is that it's a small community. It's real tight.
It can be, yeah.
Even though there's these massive celebrities,
right? It's
still like, you're gonna get a message, probably read by one of them, or they'll respond to you on Twitter. I mean, it's just.
No, for sure. Yeah, like I was telling you, I don't know if we were on stream. I think it was before stream, but I was telling you that we got visited by one of the R. Telsorian people. And yeah, it's true. It's small enough to, like, I don't know what you say, like, will hit them at some point.
Well, that's the thing that I liked about when I was doing Conan, is I was able to hang out with Rob the Swede and fucking Scooper and all the rest of them, and it was cool to because I mean they're to a player those are like gods, like,
right, because they made this shit that you're doing.
They made it. They know how it works, and you ask them a question and you stump them, and they're like, I don't fucking know how that works. I have no clue. Well, we figured this out. I figured out how to break this, so yeah.
Help me. Yeah, you used to do so our viewers are aware. Ryan used to do modding for Conan Exiles. Probably the first map mod out there, I would think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And it kind of took off. I got kind of pissed off about it crashing so much, so I just got it. I had to get away. Well,
they had a whole team have to make one later.
Yeah. That Rob, that I forget what it's called. I think it's the Wildlands or something that Contrast has, the mod map mod that he made.
Yes, yeah, Savage Wilds. Yeah, that's the
Savage Wilds. That's it. Rob the Swede developed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew he was part of it.
He tried to keep it secret forever. I'm like, Rob, we know. We know, buddy.
It's an awesome map. That's what my wife uses on her server.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he have boats in it? Because that was the last thing me and him worked on was boats.
Not working boats.
Really?
Yeah. There's boats, but they just sit there static.
No shit. Man, he gave me the model that I used on my Boats and Loads mod that I made.
Huh.
And I never released it because the spline, every time they would update something, the spline would get fucked up.
That's probably why you didn't.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But they started adding like custom levels where you could put your own map mod levels. Like, when I say levels, I mean in Unreal. You have like a persistent world, and you have levels to each one. Right. Well, those height maps, you could actually load in and create your own. You could create a level in Conan Exiles that boots up its own INI file and everything, and it's just its own fucking game. There was one called I think it was Rome or something like that, where you just didn't load Conan Sandbox, exe, and you loaded his Rome mod, and it loaded up Italy. It was the coolest fucking mod.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it, Teddy. That's fine. He's saying he tried to raid, but it wouldn't let him from console. Don't worry about it. Appreciate it anyway. Appreciate you being here. That's cool though. So you have Tavern Under the Stairs is your tabletop. You've decided to set the world in Exandria. Is that just because you like Matt Mercer so much and what he's created, or why'd you decide to go with Exandria, I suppose?
Well, we were playing Curse of Strahd.
Mm-hmm.
There was my wife.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, you've done a few campaigns with this group.
Yeah, I mean, I started out with my group, which was my buddy Matt, his girlfriend Ashley, and my wife. We just started playing and we started playing Curse of Strahd. No, we started with Icespire Peaks, the Dragons of Icespire Peak, and we basically just continued on from that point, because I tried it once because Matt's girlfriend had never played it. Mm-hmm. She plays Symphony Dinglehopper on the stream.
Okay.
By the way, the gnome bard who has just met the traveler. And we picked up Curse of Strahd because it was like, hey, let's make this a little bit deep, a little bit more fun. And I like modules as much as the next guy, but it's like being in a cage.
Right.
I've got to follow these parameters, and me and Matt, we couldn't stop character concepting and talking about all the depth and ties to these other, the multiverse was opened up, the domains of dread are all connected to these the Shadowfell and the different planes, and we're like, well, maybe Exandria could work in there somehow, and it's like, no, that's just stupid, we're not going to do that. But then we did a one shot. I bought the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, and I did a one shot off the coast of Port Damali, which is one of the ones they have. It's just this tiny little block of text. No, sorry, it's one of the ones in the back actually. And there's some Ukatoa lizardmen raiders, and we did it on my birthday. Hey, Evil Teddy, thanks for the follow.
Oh, nice. That's one of my guys.
But we played that one night on my birthday, ate chocolate hippie cake, and it was fantastic. And my wife and everybody there was just like, we should do an Exandria campaign. So I bought a gigantic binder, like Trapper Keeper style, mm-hmm. and just started fucking hammer away at Exandria. Picked the time setting to be 848 post-Divergent, so it's just after Exandria Unlimited, which is kind of taking place along the same lines as Campaign 3 now that I didn't realize. And I don't typically I don't typically follow Mercer's stuff, but I also don't step on his toes.
Sure.
Because I want to respect what he's doing, but I don't want to I want my players to have fun, but I don't want to be I'm not going to change his world. I'm just going to play in his sandbox. But eventually I'm going to move out of that into my own that I've been writing for years, which you're familiar with some of it, which mm-hmm. with Avalia and the story. And I had in Conan, that's a small slice of that I'm going to make into an entire world.
Yeah, I think you should. That's awesome. So what he's talking about right now, just for context, is he used to run a Conan server, and he kind of had his own lore built around his Conan server, and so this is what he's talking about running.
I love Conan. I love the Conan lore so much.
I do too. I think it's
such a good lore.
Probably one of the best lore bases out there. I love it.
Absolutely.
So cool. Speaking of Trapper Keepers, I actually...
Yeah, right? I don't know where the fuck mine's at. It's somewhere around here. But I got all my other shit over here.
I see you got the One Ring up there, and...
Yeah, I actually bought... I bought that on the Kickstarter. It was just released, re-released again.
Oh, shit.
They released it with the a gold-plated
Oh
edition,
damn! Look at that.
and it's like, yeah, it's
That's
fucking
fancy.
legit as fuck.
That's awesome.
And we've looked at playing I mean, we're probably gonna play this for like, just for fun. But I had to get this in the style of the Red Book of West March just because I'm a big fucking nerd.
That's just too awesome.
It is. It's so good. And they sent a whole thing. There's like a starter kit with it, and it was worth the money.
I don't know the system at all. I've never heard of it.
It's different. It's much different, which I'm going to ask you about your system because I know nothing of your system.
Oh, really?
Is it 5e based or?
No. So it's its own thing. Basically, you in place of a d20, you roll a d10. Tens, if you roll a 10, it explodes, which means you re-roll it and add the result. So,
right. Is there a limit to that?
Just one time.
Just once. Okay.
So 10 then followed by 10 is just 20 flat. But and then 1, if you roll a 1, you instead re-roll it and subtract that number from your skill. Basically, it puts more emphasis on, or more weight, I suppose, on your character's skills and abilities over the die roll. So it kind of minimizes the randomness that you get with the whole D20 array. And instead, it focuses on,
condenses your chances down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The die roll means less.
Okay.
And the skill means more. I mean, of course, you're still, even if you were really good, you're still going to have a chance to fail, but it's less.
Lessened a bit. Okay.
And then, so that's just to hit, and then damage is always done with a d6. Several, like, potentially multiple d6s, but it's just d6.
Does that explode as well?
So if you roll 2 on damage, if you roll 2 6s or more, you do a critical hit. That's how you crit.
Wow. Okay. So there's no
right
natural 10s.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. The hitting a natural 10 doesn't count as a critical. It just means you're probably going to succeed. But not necessarily either, because difficulties range anywhere between 9 to like 30.
I played a game a while. Like the first RPG I ever actually played was similar to that in the system, Savage Worlds. You ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it or read the book.
It's similar to that, except like you have your different skills, which for D&D, and I'm not sure what Cyberpunk uses, but it's strength, constitution, dexterity, wisdom, intelligence, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
With Savage Worlds, all those were changed to where your dexterous skills became under the umbrella of, I think it was agility.
Okay.
And like strength was called something else, like prowess or something like that. But each one, you didn't have a point value to it. You had a dice value. So you would roll basically. If you were a D6 in strength, you were pretty good, but you could take it all the way to a D12.
Oh, interesting.
So like, I'm gonna go kick down this fucking door. All right, roll your strength dice. Okay, you roll a D12. Well, you're probably gonna hit, pretty hard with that. And if you explode, the dice explodes. When you do damage, you roll double.
Nice.
So you kick the door down and you roll 2d6. Shatter the whole fucking door open.
Nice. Yeah, that's
an interesting system.
That reminds me of Firefly had a similar system to that. You would buy die types.
Yeah.
In Cyberpunk, if you get crit, also it's not just double damage, though that is generally what you get, but you get like a bunch of different effects. Like we have broken ribs, foreign objects lodged in you, torn muscle, and all of these things do different, have different penalties that go along with it. So it's very like cinematic in that way.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
that's kind of left up to the flourish and the flavor of the DM with D&D. It's like
right.
Yeah,
it's
you
optional.
lose your arm or whatever, or your hand.
Yeah, I did destroy somebody's hand in the second episode. I blew her. I
You should
blew
do
her.
it
I blew her
like-
hand up with a
like
claymore.
Be great.
Yeah, I could be brutal. I mean, the book tells you like play hard and fast with your players with Cyberpunk. It like literally tells you to be kind of mean.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
if if they want to go to like I don't know, play with puppies and rainbows, go to a different system. It's not an exact quote, but it's actually not far off from that.
Yeah, D&D is not a. It can well. I like that's the one thing I like about 5e versus other ones is that 5e is very open ended as far as like how you can tune it very easily.
You can. I really
so
like
easy.
yeah. 5e especially is good for that. I feel like 4 not so much at all.
4 was hot trash.
Yeah, it was. But it was all about balance too. So it's like
Yeah.
trying to fit anything in there that was your own homebrew would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it would throw everything off.
And then 3.5 I think was complicated too just because they had so many other things you got to be concerned about. So many feats in there that would change the game dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I still homebrew my own shit. I always do. Every time I pick up a system, I'm like, I don't like the way this works. I'm going to rewrite it this way.
Yeah, well, it's, there's a quote that I read or saw or heard somewhere through my hours of scrolling through things, but I always homebrew monsters because
Yeah, because
even if it's one,
they know.
They're gonna, the easiest way for my monster to heal itself is to tell me how many hit points it has left.
Yeah.
Oh, it has how many left? Okay, it just gained 30 points of healing. Thank you.
Exactly.
I mean,
Don't fuck with me.
you know.
Yeah.
But it is a lot easier to plug in with 5e because it's designed. It was the system that was designed for the masses. It was made for bringing people in and combining systems.
Jess is saying, yeah, now we get shocked if we're roughly uninjured.
Oh, do you?
Injuries a lot more brutal in Cyberpunk because you have to actually go to, a doctor. It's not like D&D where it's just like, I'll just sleep.
I'll just go to bed. So you have to go to a doctor?
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean,
crazy.
you got to get treated. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a doctor.
That gives me ideas. Maybe I should make more diseases for my players. Like, oh, you caught malaria, and
There you go.
you have to go.
Just
go
turn
to
it
a
into
shot
Oregon
glass.
Trail.
Yeah, there you go. You've got dysentery. Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I wonder if I can. I bet if I look up D&D 5e dysentery, I bet you there is one.
Oh, I bet they have homebrew rules for some of that stuff.
If there is, we are doing it. Oh, yeah, there it is, right there.
You survived getting thrown off the motorcycle games. You're fine. Stop bitching.
Hello, Goose.
Nice. I have an orange kitty as well.
This is Goosey.
Hello, Goose.
She's a flirkin. Oh, yeah. A broad family of intestinal afflictions caused by everything from bacteria to viruses, parasitic worms. Dysentery is characterized by explosive and sometimes bloody diarrhea, leading to dehydration.
That's what you need in your campaign.
Death.
No. I think that would... I don't know that anybody would enjoy playing that game. Unless you were, like, set out from the beginning, like, this is going to be a survival game.
Well, I might have to tell... Matt's telling me to stop, but I'm just going to let him know that his character might have the rumbly tummies
No.
very soon.
That's okay. He's just going to kill it off and make a new one anyway. So it'll be fine.
Trying. He has been trying.
Has he?
Got a villain. Yeah, he's been... His character, Queenie, which, I mean, unfortunately, for anyone who's crossed over and checked out our audio, I'm sorry. We're working on it. But his character, Queenie, is a rogue that has... he's a changeling rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And he has 7 personalities. And each one is a different voice and a different personality. And, changelings in D&D can chant... They don't magically change. They physically change into something else. Like the humanoid they look like is an exact replica of them, except for memories. They're kind of like scrolls in a way.
Okay.
Uh,
Interesting.
but yeah, his character his character might get dysentery pretty soon, so he can pee out his butt.
You should definitely go make a 5E podcast, Teddy. Do it.
Teddy's making a podcast.
Apparently, that's what he says.
Do it, Teddy.
Yeah.
Do that shit. We've been talking about it for like months.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, your game has been playing for a while, right?
We hit a year in July.
A year.
Yeah.
So what made you now think like, oh, I should do this as a show?
You know, I was listening to Vox Machina.
Okay.
Like starting out, I was listening to the first couple episodes that they did.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, I'm real, like, I'm not particular, but like, I don't like to jump into the middle of something. You know, like, I don't like to pick up and just, I would like, if I'm doing if I watch a show, for example, I need to watch the first episode to the last. Like every year, I go back and watch Doctor Who from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
That's something I do every year.
That's how I did it with Harry Potter.
Yeah, we do too. Every Halloween, man. Every Halloween.
Yeah.
It's every year. But yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So with my campaign, I felt like I was being disingenuous if I were to just drop a campaign on the internet and people started watching it like, wait, what the fuck's going on? But then I listened to Vox Machina and I was like, they
did it.
Like they started 2 years into their campaign. Why the fuck can't, you know? And I'm invested because the way that Mercer writes is he doesn't write it in like, and he does write it in long story arcs, but he does episodical things where he does like one episode or 2 episodes, they can something together and then they accomplish it.
Right.
And I had gotten to the point in my DMing where I had gotten into that style of writing where it was very, you know, each episode I would plant a seed and see where it went. Mm-hmm. And then later on, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we got this letter back in, you know, a couple sessions ago. And they would open up and read it. And, oh, it has something to do with this. So I was thinking, if they can do that shit and, like, just throw it out there and I mean, it's just a train that's going. And there's too many times that I've just sat back and watched shit go by. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm jumping on it. And I hitched the wagon and took off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good.
All right, because I have this fucking cool space in here. I mean,
oh yes, let's see it. Let's see your space.
Okay.
So he's built a tavern, for context here, under the stairs. Go figure.
Let me start the thing. Hang on.
All right.
I gotta get the thing started. It's gonna be really crazy looking, but that's fine.
But that's cool, man. It's kind of funny that we decided to do this roughly around the same time. I mean, I started maybe in November last year, but I mean,
there we go.
Pretty close to the same time.
Okay.
Very nice.
You hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Making my way over here. All right. So I won't turn sideways because if I do, it like gets all wonky and weird. But anyway.
Okay.
So that's the DM station.
Nice.
Table. And
your virtual map there.
Bar.
And a bar, of course.
And that bookshelf is actually my door. So when you come down the stairs of my house, I'll take the mic off and walk over there real quick. But it's a hidden secret.
Oh, that's fucking amazing. Are you serious? It's even a door.
Oh, check it out. I got my Molly Mock statue up there too.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the setup. Then I have my corner over here. So
that's amazing, man. I love it. That's so cool. My tavern.
That's another reason I decided to do it because I had fucking I spent hours and all kinds of stuff down here, cutting my part of my thumb off.
Just trying to build
So,
it.
yeah, just trying to build it. So I was like, you know what? I
He
got
built
this
his
cool-ass
gaming
space.
table too.
Huh? Yeah, I built the gaming table as well.
Very cool. That's so cool. That's a cool space that you've got. It's nice that you have like people that you can play with in person. I don't have that because I'm like relatively new to the city I'm in. I mean, it's not that new at this point, but I just don't know anybody that plays D&D here or any role playing game.
Where are you at now?
I'm in Denver still.
Oh, you're in Denver. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought you.
Yeah, I'm just really it's a homebody and COVID and then
Yeah, and then kids.
and kids.
Yeah.
So I do have a space down here, but it's mostly. I mean, I have a big table. You can't really see it, but it's covered by a thing. But I have a space to do it here, but I just don't know anybody. So I'm like, and I really wanted to get this done because it's something I've been thinking about, like either a podcast or some sort of show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just gotta go do it. And COVID was like, I don't know, droning in a way. It's just like always home. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure something else out. So I started this up.
I got stuck that way too. I got stuck with. I mean, we bought the house during COVID, so
right.
But I've been working at home for 2.5 years now, because I switched from the bank to the power company. So I've been working for them for 3 years.
Okay.
This year. But I mean, yeah, like it's like I told Matt, and to speak to the thing you said about having people to play with. These people are my family. Like,
right.
Matt's like my brother, my wife, his girlfriend is like my sister. I mean, Matt's brother Charlie plays. He plays Kosei, the drunkest.
Gotcha.
His buddy Chris plays Olo, which is our turtle mage, and probably one of the funniest characters we have on the group, besides Keiko, which is another character Matt plays. That's a Dragonborn.
Wait, he plays 2 in the same campaign?
Yeah.
I think I did know that. I think I saw that.
He plays.
You were asking which one he's playing.
Next time we go live, I'm actually making little badges with their name and like a picture, so you can actually see who the fuck they are. Because I saw that on your stream, and I was like, God damn it, I got to do that.
It's helpful.
Yeah. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we what the fuck was I talking about before that? My brain just completely shut off. I lost my way.
Man, you get 2 people with short-term memory loss in the same room together.
Dude, we're the worst.
Just never gonna get anywhere.
We're talking about getting on here, like getting on the train and doing.
Oh yeah.
It was. But yeah, I decided after COVID started and all that, I decided that I have too much creative energy, and I played New World for about 2,000 hours, and that's when I really just signed my fucking, resignation with gaming. I put a lot of hours into that. I got really good at healing, and I got to the point where
New World. Oh, that's right, the Amazon game.
Yeah. And it was such fucking hot garbage at the time. But I suffered through it, and I really liked it because it's over the shoulder third person, but like skill aiming. So you have to be able to aim to fight, which is great. Active combat, but the community was just so toxic. And then I came to realize one day, I was like, it's not just the community here. It's every fucking gaming community. Every video game community I've ever been in has been fucking toxic.
Yeah, they can.
So I came back to this.
Yeah, I will say that I have had more success in the tabletop community, at least finding good people. I really like the community we've been building. Everybody in it is just fucking so cool, and we actually started getting our first little bits of fan art, which the artist is so good.
I saw that. The fan art community in RPG communities is fucking amazing.
It really is. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Jess was saying, which is interesting, given how non-toxic I found TTRPG groups. Yeah, because one would think gamers would be awesome and understanding, and they're out there. but it's just the voices that are loudest are not are the worst.
Well, that's the thing about
I
this
think.
this particular investment. I mean, I remember writing stories with you, and when we were doing admin stuff, because I mean, I don't know if anybody else who's watching my stream knows, but Blank was one of my admins for a while, and we had servers. I mean, you ran servers, I ran my server for like that second time around. I think that whenever I closed down the first time, I thought I was done, and Nuke talked me into coming back.
Oh no, Nuke's a good.
And I ran it for a bit, and it started to bleed into life, and I was like, okay, fuck this, you know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, that shit was such a pain in the ass. But I mean, you remember writing those stories and getting really attached to those characters, and like, you know, you would even get attached to other people's characters. You know, I got attached to like Tink and D and all the rest of those people that played with us.
Same.
But it's not the same with tabletop. There's more of a commitment when it comes to tabletops, I think, because you can spend something like 2,000 hours in a video game and you consider yourself well versed, but then you sit down at a table, 2,000 hours in a character, that's nothing.
Right.
It's nothing. You know, so you're fully invested whenever you sit down and really put the time in to think about how my character thinks and how I'm reacting. It's just, I don't know. I love it. It's so much more positive.
Well, and you only get one 4 to 6 hour period to like really get into that person, as opposed to a video game where it's like I can just hop in whenever I want.
Yeah.
I promote positivity and help because we have to bring each other up. Only time we should look down is to help someone up. I agree, man. Can't agree more.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Which is why I feel bad about killing my players, but
it
happens sometimes.
It happens. I have one, Matt's girlfriend, Ashley. He loves to push red buttons. So, funny story.
Oh no.
The Traveler visited her, and as a drunk guy who had the deck of many things, and told her that it ruined his life, and he would do anything to just have her take it away from him, and eventually talked her into taking it. So she took it, and she's by herself on the docks. She opens the pouch up and reaches in and pulls a card out. And I'm like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" She said, "Yeah." Okay. She drew fucking the Void.
Is that where you get locked into some pocket dimension and you can't ever get out? Yeah. Okay.
So you get locked into a jewel, like your soul gets separated from your body, and you're locked into a place of the DM's choice. So I chose a jewel that was in a dungeon that they had completely fucking like ran through and didn't loot. So I was like, "Here's your chance, assholes. Go back through there and check out everything." No, they fucking just blew through that too.
They left him behind, or they went back and got him, and that's it.
They went and got her, and then they were like, "Yeah, fuck all this loot. Fuck this shit. We don't need this. Fuck them. I'm out. I gotta go kill other things."
That's funny. Yeah. How much of my prepared content is actually just passed up without ever being touched is enormous. I could probably
tell you how
make
much
a new
of mine
campaign.
Exactly this fucking much. This much has been passed up. That's the folder I gave up on. Fuckers.
Yep. I know the feeling, man. I had a GM who made a literal red button, and if you failed your will save, all you could do was press the red button until somebody took it from you.
I had a button puzzle like that. It was a room with like ornate traps around the walls, and there was a timer in the middle and a button, and the timer just kept going and counting down, and they would just go ahead and press the button and it would reset.
Oh, like Lost.
Like Lost.
Yeah,
and they sat there
and they pressed it.
Not shooting you for 30 minutes. Well, I'm gonna go check the walls for traps. Okay. I'm gonna go check this. Okay. Press the button. Okay. Finally, they let the timer run out. Door opens.
And
they looked at me like, "You son of a..."
Oh, that's fucked.
Like, yeah.
Deck of Many Things is fun, but campaign breaking. At least I've found in my experience it can be. I just
Can be.
says I try to follow breadcrumbs. She does. This player, if I don't have something prepared for it, it's very noticeable on my stream because I'm like trying to wing it, and,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't remember.
You find
what I
footprints
had.
that lead out the window. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. Though.
Unfortunately, I don't
Keeps
have
me
very
on my
many that
toes.
are like that. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what players do. You could prepare. Like I said, we prepare a wonderful cake, and they go eat fucking hot dogs.
It's true though.
I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
You are thank you'd.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, if it weren't for my addiction to campaign prep, I don't know if I would continue doing this, because I will say this, in comparison to running a Conan server, this is much better.
Oh yeah,
much better.
I find it more rewarding anyway. I mean, I liked running the server when I did, but I think that I quickly ran out of steam. Just because there's a lot of extra stuff that you don't have to deal with in this type of environment. I mean, you're servicing maybe 30 to 60 people versus 4 or 6.
Yeah,
and that makes a massive difference between people's attitudes, and
well, it gives a more focused approach.
Yeah.
I think it's like classrooms. You have
Right.
a teacher with 5 students. Those 5 students can be really fucking good at things that you're teaching, but you put in a class of 50, they're gonna get overlooked.
Right.
My wife's a teacher, actually. She teaches over here at the elementary school by us. We're actually working on incorporating some of Dungeons and Dragons into her classroom, because they have at that age they do like a tracking system with behavior and grades and stuff. And I was like, well, man, D&D is basically math and stories. Why don't we work up a system that you could put out there? And we've been kind of working on that for a while.
Oh, interesting. Cool, man. You'll have to let me know how that goes. I'd be
I
interested.
will. It'll be on Teachers Pay Teachers when we get it all, like, on sheets to where I told her to, like, we're going to try it this year and see how it goes and see, how easy it is. And then we're going to come back later and look at it and try to, like, put it into a format that's readable.
Cool.
That's repeatable and readable.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
I wonder if I'm making too much. Am I coming through to your stream okay? Because
I think you are. Chat. How's Ryan's sound? Sound good? In my ears, you're fine. So,
okay.
I don't know about my chat.
As long as you're picking up your desktop audio, it should be fine.
They say, yeah, I have no issues. He's loud and clear. So you're good
Cool.
on mine. How about yours? Am I coming through on yours?
Yeah. There was a second there it was cutting out, but it was because I didn't have the desktop audio added, and I cut it. That was pretty, like, right when we first started, so I figured out, got it added.
Gotcha. Yeah, I consistently make mistakes with this stuff all the time. We had an idea of doing an April. Well, maybe I shouldn't say, because it's still an idea. I'm going to keep that. But we have a lot of technical difficulties. I'll just say that.
Yeah, our problem is the space is not sound treated, and we didn't have a proper mixer. So I mean, I was basically mixing on a Milanocaster, which is a 2-port, 2 XLR input fucking podcast thing.
Right.
That's what those first sessions were recorded on, and a USB mic. Well, the USB mic, because it's on a different bus, they didn't share the signals were off. So you'd hear me first or them first, and it would just. I just bought a mixer that works and brings them all in together. So we have a 12 channel that'll actually sound better this time, I hope.
Yeah, you have like a totally different setup that I just don't know even how to start with.
It's a pain in the ass.
I bet.
It's a pain in the ass. But I did find some really cool audio treatments for the walls that look like bricks.
Oh yeah, those. I think
I
you
sent
showed
them
me
to
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna buy a
nice.
few of those, and I'm putting some padding up in the corner and seeing how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, and you're still like really new. You've only had what, 3 episodes, maybe 4?
3. We're going to be on the 4th one this time. Is
it this weekend?
It is this weekend at 6:00 Central Time. It's called "I'm on a Boat, Bitch" because they stole an airship.
Nice, very cool.
And the name of the does your group have a name? Do they have like a collective name of their?
They do. So early on, they found a color-changing chameleon, and they decided to name themselves Gojira. Like.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. I love it. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Oh, bravo. I live for those times when my players make me just fucking, like, I can't facepalm hard enough before I'm just like, you know what? I give in.
I know.
I'm over. It's over.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
How about yours? Have they named their group yet?
Yeah, they're called Happy Hands.
Okay.
Because
This must have a story.
they met an NPC as a furbog, and his name is Rudy. Rudy Rusty Shank. He was a armorer in Darktoe, and he's a real nice guy, and he's real slow talking, and yeah, he likes to make fun things for people, and they wanted him to like make him all these crazy elaborate things, and he made some hand wraps for Kosei, and he told him he couldn't get Kosei to put his hands up. I kept trying to say, I was like, oh, just hold your hands up, man, and he wouldn't do it, and I'm like, happy hands like this, and it just stuck. I don't know why the fuck it did, but it stuck. So
interesting.
Not as good as Gojira.
Gojira's, I know.
God damn it.
My players are awesome, though. I love them.
Yeah.
They're great.
I see that.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So I have one thing I wrote. I'm looking at my list here because I'm somewhat organized. So how long have you been DMing?
All together? Yeah. Wow. Maybe. So I started with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons back in middle school. I guess you could consider that the start. But even before that, I was like designing video games on notebooks. Like I would draw out a map and you could like walk through the world on different pages of a notebook. Yeah. And I would just spend all of my time making these elaborate games, like video games, but in a notebook. And so that would be what I consider, I guess, the start of my GMing, because I would like narrate it for my friends and
wow.
Yeah.
That's much longer than me.
It's been a long time.
I played games for a long time, but I never. I mean, I had the thoughts. I like to read the stories. I mean, I read books like crazy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So forever, I guess. When did you start? Like, when did you make that transition from player to GM?
2000.
Oh, you remember the date?
15? Yeah, 2000. I was an adult. I mean, I'd always like read and like picked up D&D books because I mean I've got like I go back this far.
Oh, now, nice.
So I had the books.
Did you play that edition?
No, fuck that edition. Okay, fuck that edition.
It's pretty brutal.
It's bad.
It's like not good.
It's bad. It's so bad, and I don't even know how the fuck anybody ever played that edition. But
is that first? That's first, right? Or is that AD&D?
Yeah, it's first edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, Advanced. Actually, I see. So controversial take. I actually like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
You like Advanced?
You know why? Because it was my first official system.
Well, see, that's why. And like, I mean, look at this fucking artwork.
Classic. I know it's so good.
Where's the beholder at? I gotta find a beholder.
I know, it looks so goofy.
It looks like a saggy ball just hanging there. There's a Demogorgon. Looks like a fucking monkey with tentacles.
Yep.
Amazing. No, I mean, yeah, I didn't like how complicated these were, and honestly, I didn't. I grew up in the South, like real South, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So where I was from, I had the books, but I didn't have anybody to play with me because this was before the internet. To anyone out there who is, under 25 or not 25 and older, I grew up in a place where there was no fucking internet until I was about 19 or 20. I didn't have a phone, I had the internet, nothing.
Crazy.
So when I got these books just out of random fucking places, and I'd read them. I loved them, but it was like my mom's not going to play with me, and everybody else thinks I worship Satan if I do. So
yeah, I did when I started running an Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign. One of my friends in the group, he had to quit because his mom did. He was like, "No, that is Satan worship. Get out of here with that."
Yeah. Do you know the story of the D4?
No, I don't think I know this story.
In the 1980s, there was a satanic panic. Of course, you know about that.
Yes.
But Gary Gygax, this is, I don't know if it's true or not. I saw it on a meme. I looked it up. It's actually pretty valid. But they used to raid D&D games. Like Christians would raid them and bust into the basements and everything else. Well, the D4 was supposedly created as a caltrop to keep them from doing that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's literally a caltrop.
Yeah, it's literally a caltrop. So.
Interesting. Because I've always just called them that. Because they hurt when you step on them in the middle of the night.
Especially the metal ones.
Yeah, Teddy, if you have questions, feel free to ask. This would be a fantastic time to do it. Because we got two GMs here willing to answer questions. But that's interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, I've read it somewhere, so could be true. Sounds true. I like it. If it isn't true, I'm going to go ahead and say it is.
Yeah, it's a good story either way.
I would totally do that. Fuck you, Mom. What is your setting about? Like, tell me. Paint the picture for me. You know Exandria, so you already know where the fuck I'm set at. So tell me about
a little. Yeah.
Like,
I would say I'm not the most versed in Exandria, but Cyberpunk is basically a dystopian future. They call it the role-playing game of the dark future. Basically, corporations have grown to the point where they haven't overthrown governments, but they are their own governmental agency, or like, I guess, their own sovereign nation. So you step on, like, one of the companies is called Arasaka. You step on an Arasaka, mall or whatever, and it's their rules. You're in their territory now, and so, yeah, with that kind of control, a lot of corrupt, dark things happen, and your characters are a bunch of what they call edge runners, who pull off missions for these, either the corporations or gangs or just fixers, friends, just inside of this dark world. And I guess the whole point of Cyberpunk is, I guess, just to save yourself. It's not about being a hero. It's about saving yourself.
Okay. Interesting. So what you're saying is it's a role-playing game about 10 years in the future.
You pretty much. It's kind of funny because what I used to play was Cyberpunk 2020, the year that it took place was in 2020. And so now it's kind of like back when it was made in the 80s, 90s, that was obviously in the future. And but now we're, at 2020. So basically it's just split off on a parallel timeline, 2 hours, something different events had happened. So, so that way they could still keep their continuity. And then now we've progressed in time with the release of Cyberpunk Red, which is the next, and I think 3rd edition. Well, technically 4th, but they they actually killed their third edition because they went in a completely weird direction, and people, well, at least people I know, didn't really like it. But anyway, so that has been retconned, and so now we have the third edition, which is Cyberpunk Red, and it takes place in 2045. And then the video games, Cyberpunk 2077, is actually still part of this world. Like, they work with this small they work with this small tabletop RPG company to develop their, AAA video game, which is so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
So it's all part of the same world.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask next. That's part of the video game.
Yeah.
Then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Everything that happens in the video game is all canon and has canon things dating back all the way to Cyberpunk 2013, which is the first edition.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive, dude. I mean, sci-fi has never been my bag. I've always been fantasy based, and like, Conan in general, like
Sure.
that. Robert E. Howard was one of my favorite writers. But I've always appreciated it for what it is, and that sounds pretty damn cool. I mean, that Savage Worlds inserts itself into that. And I wish I had a book of Savage World. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Nope, I don't. But I had one. I have one. I was reading it because I was looking at the way they do their modifiers, which is interesting, and their combat system's really fast. But it lends itself to something a lot like Cyberpunk, so that's
Gotcha.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is the story canon? Like, you know how D&D has like they recently have opened up the multiverse.
Right.
And I'm not sure if you follow any of this, but like
really.
Fizbane's Treasury of Dragons basically rewrote the history of dragons, and like how all that stuff took place, and like how they were created, and how they went across the multiverse and shattered. Does that track with Cyberpunk and the way they do their lore? Is it like it's one continuous story after the new edition, or is it like when they do a new edition, is it like a whole new story, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, it is. It's one continuous story, and I mean, they have modules and kind of thing, but because Cyberpunk is a story about edge runners who are just really doing missions for the corporations, it's like you have to kind of read between the lines of what that mission was about and world events in order to really piece this all together and understand the bigger picture of what's going on. It's actually quite complex.
But how do you come up with, when you do plots,
Mhm.
like, do you line out like a narrative and say, okay, I'm going to throw in this hook and then connect it to this? Or do you look at something and do you write the end first, or do you write the hook first and then connect them?
It depends. I usually come into the game with an idea, like, okay, I have this kind of idea brewing in my head for a really cool story that I'd like to tell in Cyberpunk. And then as, things happen in the game, I like, oh, that could be a really interesting hook. I'll take that and do that in a subplot, or so on and so forth. So generally, okay, I do start it with like an idea in mind. This campaign in particular, though, they released what's called a jumpstart kit, which is like just a basic introduction to the rules. And that's what we decided to play on our first stream. Just because we wanted to stream something, we wanted to understand what we were doing a little bit, because we hadn't done anything like it before. So we just like ran this Cyberpunk game. I love Cyberpunk from 2020 and 2013. So the new edition Red coming out was like super exciting to me. I wanted to run it. So we did this jumpstart kit in it. I know I'm really long-winded. I'm sorry for a very...
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. They have this pre-made mission. It's a really small mission, maybe like 3 pages long, and it tells this story about this apartment that gets taken over by a corporation, right. And the players are either trying to save the apartment or sell out the apartment or something. My players end up losing the apartment, and it becomes the whole like premise to their part of the campaign. Like I have this other story going on, but what my players are mostly focused on is this thing from the jumpstart kit from the
So it was a pre-built module, basically.
you could
like
save it,
starter
yes.
kits you get with
yeah. It was
okay.
exactly. Yeah, it was like a 3-page like just small mission thing.
That's pretty cool, man. So how long have you guys been going? I forgot to ask that earlier.
Oh, we started back in November last year. So 2021 ended November.
Just started streaming?
Yep. Yeah, and we
Okay.
our first game was on our first stream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's ballsy, man. I don't think I could do
You should have seen my face, dude. We decided to stream just on a whim, and do this kickstart or this jumpstart just to get used to each other, get to know each other and stuff. Yeah. I expected nobody to be watching this thing. When I heard people were watching, you can it's documented. You can go out there and see the first episode and just see like the color drain from my face. Just like, oh shit. People are watching this, and
I don't get that many watchers. Like we probably
had like 3, but still.
Yeah, I mean,
I was still like,
you're just like, fuck, oh god, they're for me, it messes with my ability, or like I'll forget stuff. Like I'm already fucking short-term memory anyway, but I'll forget what an NPC sounds like if I get nervous. I'm like,
dude.
What do you sound like? I have to go look it up.
Your voices are really stellar, by the way. But I forget what my...
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I forget what my NPCs sound like all the times. In fact, this most recent stream, I had to pause and be like, no, that's not her accent. Hold on. Give me a second.
I have done that so many times. But see, I found a really cool template, and I don't remember where I found it. But this, I'll show you. My bag of tricks. Yeah. You can. Does that focus in?
Sorta. Oh, does it have
Let's see if it does it. But yeah, there you go. See, I've got an entire block dedicated to them.
Oh, I see.
What they are, what their accents, their sound, what their personalities.
Oh, little NPC sheets. Okay.
Yeah, and it helps me to because I'll make there's two blocks for them on those oh shit, my life. Yeah. There's 2 blocks, so I can put 2 NPCs on a sheet, and I'll put if they're from Dark Toe, I'll put Dark Toe at the top, Dark Toe villains, and that way if I'm in the middle of a game, I have this thing propped up on the side of my screen, and I'm just flipping through it real quick, and I can remember what their accents are and stuff.
That's cool.
It's hard to track one for a while.
It is, and it's my campaign. Takes place in a mostly Asian population. So I'm having to do a lot of Japanese accents, and I'm not good at it to begin with, and everybody sounds the same now. And
that's fine.
Yeah, I feel horrible though.
Well, you can't. Oh God, especially so the Asian cultures are the absolute worst to try to get those dialects and inflections.
Yeah.
They're so hard because there's each it could be regional, it could be neighborhood. I mean,
Thank you, Jess.
Those variants are just so hard to track, and that's the thing. With I'll get to, the British are the hardest for me.
Yeah.
Because you've got the dirty Cockney accent,
right.
And then you got Welsh, and these other dialects, and then you got the Scots who talk on the back of their fucking throat. And it's just there's all these different, and you'll forget. You'll start talking like a Russian when you're trying to do a Scottish accent.
That's true. I don't know what my Hispanic woman voice sounds like, really. I don't know how to describe it other than maybe she's Middle Eastern or something, or Eastern European maybe. It's I don't know what I've done. I've butchered the accent so bad.
I legit made a character because I could not think of anything else to do. I made an NPC to follow the group. And I just based him off in Inigo Montoya. Hello.
Oh, nice.
Montoya.
Hey, Sounds good. My players seem to enjoy the voices I do, and that's all I care about. You know,
all that matters.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting across to them, you know, what you're trying. You know, really, it's about the words. But if you get it across, even with, I found that like Brendan Lee Mulligan, he has a very tight range of accents and like things he can do, but he does the mannerisms and the, you know, the intensity of his voice and like where he registers with it is just so shocking that you're like, I don't give a fuck if you are a middle-aged woman, you sound like a demon, and that's great.
Yeah.
You know.
Just says, yeah, I've never questioned who is who. They've always had different voices to me. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad.
Well, there you go, man. There you go.
That's a good compliment. I appreciate that.
A lot of it's mannerisms too. That's why I write mannerisms down, because it's so important to like I learned that with
oh yeah,
Sean
you
Gilmore.
do the physical acting. I don't do that as much, and I really need to get better at that.
Just throw your hands around, talk with your hands. You know, just
Sure.
throw them around a little bit. I try to look at it. What I do is during the day, and you can ask Holly about this if she ever wants to on stream. I'll bring it up. But I'll walk around the house sometimes, and I'll be like, "Yes, over here we have one more thing to show you." And I'm like trying my voices out, and she's like, "Who are you talking to?" Nobody. Just me. I'll be down here in the tavern, just at my desk, like
just
fucking
making
stupid ass voices
and writing your notes so you actually look like a madman. Very nice.
I have dude. Oh my god! I just realized I'm a fucking crazy wizard. I've got scrolls laying around everywhere. Holy shit! I've become Gandalf.
Gandalf is the shit, though. Definitely.
That's what Matt says I am. Like, do you guys ever sit around and talk about like what you would be in, like what class you would be in real life? Do you ever have that conversation?
I have before. I don't know what I would be. Like NPC villager, I guess. I'm pretty not talentless.
Janitor.
Yeah.
Janitor.
No, I'm just kidding. I probably would be some sort of wizard, I would think.
We did the thing where we talked about what everybody else, what each person thought they were, and then what everybody else thought they were.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I got wizard on class every time,
Nice.
But because I'm 5'11" and 200 pounds, they said I would be a half orc. I was like,
half orc wizard.
Okay, nice. I'll take that racial trait. I'm fine with that.
Nice. Teddy says, I'm a chaotic neutral rogue. I'm not sure how to feel about that now, Mr. Teddy.
I immediately suspect you of things.
Exactly. Chaotic neutral.
That's what my character Darmok was on
Chaotic
Ruins of
Neutral?
the Storm. Yeah, chaotic neutral. It was like, I'm pretty chill about things until I'm not. And I'm going to smack you with axes.
That's true. When he got mad, he got mad.
Yep. Oh man, it was so fucking. That was such a weird, interesting. Like, I still have all those documents. I saved.
You saved all of that from there?
Everything, every story everybody ever sent to me, posted in our chats. So I've got like a running history of Ruins of the Storm in order.
Oh, nice. You put in more work than I ever did for that.
The lore was so important to me because you know really who got me to caring about Conan was Eli. When I found out her story.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I love that girl. Like, she's such a sweetheart, and
she's all right. How's she doing?
She's good. Last time I randomly would just message her like a random meme or something every now and then and just check on her. She's still down in Houston, still doing good. I mean, just, you know, I think she had to move. She had to move away from her grandmother or something because they were kind of weird. But
sure,
yeah. But she had so much dedication to her character. It was crazy. Like, she wrote all these stories and just this whole thing. It was just awesome. There were so many good people in Ruins of the Storm. So many.
Yeah, there were.
But for all the good ones, there were the bad ones that came, and there were a lot more of those.
Well, yeah.
Remember the Spider Lady? Were you there for that?
I do remember the spider lady. I think I was there when we booted that lady. God, that was fucking. Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about the spider lady on the stream.
No,
It's fucking creepy as hell.
Oh, I thought I had seen a lot as an adult grown man.
Yeah, that was like, whoa.
Okay, you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep.
Have you? And who's the guy that wanted to roll for everything? What was his name? Brinjar?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Brinjar. Oh no, it was Brinjar. Yeah.
It was Brinjar.
The werewolf guy.
The werewolf guy. Yeah. He ran up in the north was like, I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yep.
But I'm gonna do it with dice rolls. Okay.
Question from chat: how much time do you guys put into world building and NPCs? So much fucking time. That's all I do when I'm
Pretty
not.
much all I do.
Yeah.
All I do. If I could show you my Google Docs right now, it is
Just
filled,
packed. Yeah.
just packed with different ideas. And like I do a session. I don't know if you do this, but every session on the next day, I get up, upload videos to YouTube, and then I just dump out everything that happened into a document, just short, just, and then I'll read over it, and then I carry this book around with me literally fucking everywhere.
Uh-huh.
It's my book of holding.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And
I have one of those.
Dude, I will sit here when I get an idea. I'll be at work and I'll just have this thing beside me and I'll just throw it down and just start,
Nice.
So I mean, yeah. The real question is, how much time do we not spend prepping? That's the question.
It's true. A lot of, for both of us, we have worlds that have already been established. So some things have been already pawned off on us, which is incredibly beneficial. But I guess the question is, where should one start with world building? So I guess I would probably start with learning somebody else's world. Because that is going to help you make your own world in the future.
Man, honestly, I recommend highly for anyone who's interested in world building and RPG, community building, whatever. Download Audible or read the World of Critical Role, the book, and it explains all that. You would be surprised at how much Mercer didn't know about Exandria when they first started. He had no fucking clue. He was making it up as he went along.
Yeah. And that's
really the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to do it because it lets your players also get really immersed in what you're doing, because what they are doing is literally shaping the world.
Yeah.
So it's, as Teddy says, so it's keep a notebook for ideas around at all times to keep ideas flowing. Absolutely. If you have a single idea in your head and you just think it's got the even slightest amount of viability, even slightest, even if not, put it down, because if you forget it, it's gone forever.
Yep.
Put it down.
That is fucking truth. This thing is, besides my notebook, this is the best tool you have to remember. I have voice recordings on here while I do driving.
While you're driving, yes, I do the same.
Blurt out a fucking plot line and just come back to the house and listen to it. Like, okay, write that down.
Yep.
I'm telling you, document. If you have an idea and your brain tickles and you're like, oh shit, that's awesome. Even if it's fucking hot ass garbage, whenever you review it later, write that shit down.
Yep.
I can't stress that enough.
Cause like I said, because once it's gone, it's gone. You're not going to get it back. I mean, you might come up with an idea that's similar, but it's never going to be exactly.
It's never going to be the same. 100% agree.
Yep. I did hear that tip or read that once. Letting your players build the world as well to tie them to it and make them care more. So say they frequently a tavern, have that player describe the tavern when the group first enters. Have either of you ever done that? Have the player describe the tavern? Probably not. I don't think I've ever done like a tavern, like a place that they'll come to all of the time. I probably take the reins on that. but like a location that's personal to that character, absolutely I will put in their hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll to piggyback off of that, that's something I like to do. I basically hand over the mic when my players get into situations that's very personal to them. I'm not sure if you guys had seen the last stream, but they ran across a ship. They just got finished fighting some Bodocs. They went down into the hull of the ship. Well, the villain they've been chasing is a human trafficker. That's what he does. He kidnaps people and uses them for sacrifice. So they went down and found a couple that had a dying child, it was a dead child, but we had a cleric in the group who could resurrect. So they went through this. I made them go through the whole ritual of resurrection, not just like, oh, you cast resurrection and it comes back. No, they had to like tell me, how do you will this soul back into the body? And I had them explain that and talk about it. And one of the people that Ashley, the one that isn't just Matt's girlfriend that's always pushing the red buttons, I actually caught her wiping tears away because I let her get so involved in it.
Oh, nice.
That she wrote the narrative and I just elaborated on it.
Recently, our last episode is, we're dealing with the spoiler alert, by the way. We're dealing with the death of one of the characters, and it was highly emotional this last episode. I started.
That's awesome. I started watching a little bit of this morning. I had a fucking meeting I had to go to.
It's all right. I've been watching yours as well.
I'm sorry, the audio, man. I'm so sorry. That audio is so bad.
You'll
but
figure
I'm
it out. Dude, my beginning episodes are rough. They're really rough.
Yeah. But I will say one thing to talk about letting your characters build the world. Now, this is something that I come up with just recently with Avelia, because I've been writing Avelia for the better part of 6 years. And I say that in the loosest sense possible because it's up here, but it's also in Google Docs and notebooks and ideas all over the place. But what I'm going to do is in D&D, and first backtrack, in D&D's story and like their basic multiverse pantheon and structure of the world is there's primal gods, and then there's prime deities, and then there's primordial gods. And then of the prime deities who arrive on the planets to try to shape them and bring life to them, there always turns out to be what's called betrayer gods in Exandria. Well, they're the ones that become, malicious, like Asmodeus, Tharzandoon, fucking Torog, and all the other, bad gods, basically. Well, there's usually a fight, and there's usually a seal of what's called a divine gate around the planet or around the material plane, so they can't interfere anymore. It keeps mortals safe. Well, there's always usually like a large fight or a calamity or something like that. I'm going to take that a little step further. I'm going to try to write out my own pantheon, or at least keep some of the pantheon and add like a few new gods. And I'm going to give each of my players a choice to play one of those gods of a different domain. And we're going to go and we're going to do the fucking war as our pre-campaign from when I start Avelia. That's going to be the first campaign we do as a 4-shot of us going through that story.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to start out at like level 20 with all this amazing shit.
And then you're going to walk it back.
It's going to be like they're going to write the history.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to mold it and jump forward in time and let them pick up after what they did. So their consequences and what they do will paint the picture for the future.
Interesting. That's interesting.
We'll see how it works out. It'll be live on Twitch, so
check it out. Tavern Under the Stairs. Twitch.tv.
Not sure when it's going to start, but it'll be soon.
I said that all.
Probably about another year, so. To be honest.
Well, that's okay.
Depends on if they get killed or not. Next episode.
Yeah, if you have a TPK, it's a good time to start.
Time to start. Well, guys.
So, how about a new game?
Right.
I don't think I've ever had a TPK before.
I've
been in one. It sucks.
I've confession. I've never killed a player.
Never? Oh my god. I used to keep dead characters on my fridge with magnets.
Did you?
I was so brutal in my early 20s.
Jesus Christ, Conan, calm the fuck down.
I was so brutal. But everybody I was playing with understood like how brutal I was, and that was like part of the game. Is like
Oh,
they understood like, oh, I could really die in this, and that excited them to play.
well, I remember that about you. Like that about Conan, the
Oh,
fact
yeah.
that it was so fucking savage.
I do.
And me and you used to talk about people like, I can't get out of the starting area. Tough shit. Better get good.
Figure it out.
Learn how to dodge, motherfucker. Yeah, I mean that was yeah. But I'm not. I guess I took a step back on that with with my D&D stuff because I don't do that to my players, but I do fuck with them a lot.
Yeah.
Just like I did in Ruins. I'd drop meteors on their houses and shit. That was so much fun. That was so much fun. Josh actually made that after me and him talked about it. He put that meteor command in Pippi.
Oh, that was because of you? I knew that it got added. I didn't know it was because of you. That's funny.
I was like, Josh, you should make it to where you can summon a meteor. He's like, I don't think I can do that. 10 minutes later, oh yeah, I figured it out.
Josh, man, that dude is a genius.
Fucking absolute genius.
So Teddy says, with being mostly in different areas, is there a series of apps that you use to make your lives easier? Well, virtual desktop. Or tabletop, like Roll20 or Foundry or one of those guys. I use Google Docs for pretty much everything. All of my house rules are written in them. All of my character notes, everything is in Google Docs. So that's what I do.
I'm about half in, half out. I use Google Docs and my phone for the
phones
ability, like the ability to just write it down, like get it documented.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, man, I prefer. I'm old school. I like paper and pen, and I like to sit down and feel the pen scratching. I also like to draw. So I mean, I don't know if you noticed, or I don't know if I can even share this with you, but
if you put it over your face, you can.
Yeah. Hang on, let me open my thing. But I did all the artwork for our screen because it's just something I like to do. I mean, I don't know. I'm very much a tactile person. Like I don't like audiobooks. I like to have books in my hand. So it's kind of hard for me to speak to that, to be honest. So I can capture this window real quick, and if it does, I can show it to you.
I'll read this next thing. Oh, well, you figure that out.
There you go. Okay, so I made.
Oh, you did you draw all the people?
Yeah, I drew all this.
Oh, see, that's cool.
I haven't. No, my Queenie's not up there.
I'm not an artist, man. I don't do it good.
Yeah.
I designed our overlay, but that's about it. Which I do actually quite like.
No, dude, you're so slick, man. I can't. Yep. I'm not good at doing clean things. It's all jumbled and rustic and shit. That's my style. Scratchy and rustic.
Well, I think that what you have is wonderful. Oh man, if we could still do that. Good luck getting out of the starter area. Learn to dodge. Oh, she's talking about our Conan stuff.
You make your transitions too for OBS?
I mean, all I do is like a slide.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have anything fancy.
Hang on, I'm gonna change scenes real quick.
I know you've got this die roll thing. That's sweet.
I can make those.
Oh, nice.
So if you need someone to help you with that, I can show you. I got a free program to do it.
I would love that help, because yours looks like, what is it? Like the old Green Hornet.
Yeah, it's like the yeah. That's what I thought. It was like
nice. Yes, exactly.
That is actually exactly where I'm so glad you got that reference, because you remember the old Batman with the spinning bat symbol?
Yep.
That's exactly where I got it from. I was like, I'm going to do this shit in a whimsical way that only certain people are going to be like, hey, I recognize that.
I got it.
What it is.
That's awesome.
I actually rolled the dice on my desk to get the sound effects because I couldn't find rolling dice that were not completely obnoxious.
We can
I just rolled it.
We can post it somewhere public, Teddy. Like in the community or something. That's awesome, though. I'm trying to think of like other apps that might be helpful. Honestly, I really just use the Google Docs and the virtual
And
tabletop.
virtual tabletops, Arkenforge is really good if you want.
There you go.
You need to learn. Okay, so here's the thing. It's just like with any other system, like video game or whatever. You find what works for you. Find something, dig into it. If you like it, that's what's great for you. Because otherwise, you're going to be trying to like keep up with the fucking Jones. I don't have time for that shit. I find like I use a combination of things because I have a TV in my table.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking hot. It's an old Sony that my wife just will not let me replace. One day, she doesn't know this, but I'm going to buy one. But
Black Friday.
Right? Give me a Vizio in there.
There you go.
But I use a combination of Encounter Plus, which is an incredible app if you do D&D. And if you have an Apple TV, you can just mirror your screen to it and it just automatically detects it as an external display, so you can control all the things on the DM side and just throw the map up on a TV, and you can do Fog of War, import custom maps, grid align, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I make my maps in Incarnate, which is one of the best tools out there. I make all of my maps in there.
I don't know that.
And I import it into Encounter Plus, and then I control it from there. So
oh, you know what? I do actually. Now that you mentioned that, I don't know what Incarnate is, but I do use a Clip Studio, I think is what it's called, for because I have a Lenovo Yoga, so it has a stylus and I can draw on it. So I do draw out some maps on there.
Okay, I sent you a link to Incarnate. You should check it out.
Okay,
it's so awesome.
I'll post it public. Ted.
Yeah, I posted it in there for Teddy.
Cool.
It's really good. I mean, it has. I think it's there's a lot of fantasy-based things on it because it was built, for that. But it does also have sci-fi, so it could be very useful. I could probably actually share a window on my stream.
I'll go to your stream and see if I can.
Oh, not that. Window capture.
Y'all like the chat being on this side versus
shit.
on this side? Yes or no? What?
Shut up.
There it is.
Oh god.
All right. I'll crank this down just a hair. So, like this, if anybody's
Oh,
if they want to check it out on my stream, I've got it pulled up blank.
Yeah, I see it on yours.
Okay, so yeah, this is. I mean, okay, I'll give a little sneak peek here.
Uh-oh.
This is Avalia. That's so much that I've worked out.
So you are working on it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nice.
The Kingdom of Alera, man. That's the primary kingdom, and the Crimson Expanse is the last bastion just after the end of the Skull of the World Eater.
That map looks legit. There's not a lot out there for sci-fi stuff, or cities rather.
It's very hard to find sci-fi stuff. I have noticed that. But yeah, so I mean,
yeah, no problem.
I like
Teddy,
this
take care.
because it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of use for it. There's lots of really cool items and stuff, and you can pay for it. I think it's $25 a year for
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, not at all. I'm trying to find a let me go into the map editor and I'll see if I can find a set of tools here, because I have the full thing and I think they have sci-fi stuff in here. Some stamps. Here's a catalog they have. So let's grab all these.
I'm sorry to hear that, Teddy. Well, have a good one. Thanks for stopping into the stream. Appreciate you as always, bud. Take care.
See you, Teddy. Okay, so yeah. Well, not a whole lot of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I think I've actually used this once when I designed a D&D thing, dungeon once.
Yeah,
but I honestly prefer writing it down in that little book of holding, just straight up graph paper when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, graph paper is the best.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about digital maps is I get to put them on screen.
Right. Yeah.
Last time at the end of the stream, you'll see that I actually used my center camera because I have a table of 8 people and it's usually full. And it points down to the end of the table, so it picks up the 2 people down there. Well, I turned the camera down to point at the map because I actually had a physical map out. And it's very hard for me, being the obsessive person that I am, to not buy like Dwarven Forge, things and build set. I could waste years of my life doing that.
Right. Yeah, sure.
I just don't. I don't bother with it.
It's probably wise.
Yeah.
I'm a big miniature painter personally, and for like the beginning, I don't even know, like 12 episodes of my stream, I used to have like an overhead camera over my table, and I would just manipulate everything myself because I'd have all my miniatures, most of them painted, and play with that. But it just looked like shit on stream. It just did. I can't get it to look right, so I switched to a virtual.
Unpainted minis.
Nice.
I've got some, actually.
Do you paint?
Yeah, hang on. Let me grab mine.
That I don't even know where. So how's everybody doing tonight? Don't want to have some dead air here, so I'll fill it with me talking about nothing. Even a small group.
Beholder zombie.
Of the mind.
Got my beholder zombie.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Yeah, he's kind of cool.
Nice, dude.
That was the first one that actually killed one of my players.
Oh, nice.
And I tried to do this. I had some resin, so I made a gelatinous cube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I just ate shit and was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm buying a gelatinous cube.
Sure.
Yeah, they're the best. And then I got my favorite, my Death Tyrant, Cathera.
Oh, nice.
He's that damn light's too bright. There we go. A little bit better.
Yeah, that is better. Nice.
I want to try to figure out how to get an LED in his eyeball, but I never could figure it out
Oh, that'd be cool.
without completely destroying it.
So we have another question here. Even with small groups, do you prefer theater of the mind or maps? For me, it certainly depends on the situation. Most of the time, I do prefer maps. Because I'm that kind of person, is like I gotta know exactly where something is for it to really make sense in my head. But there are times where just the narrative approach is better because you don't have to go through a big ado to get something done.
I'm the same way. I like to I played WoW.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did you play WoW, Blank? I don't remember.
Not really. No.
Not really. I was always fascinated with game design because of WoW, because of how interesting their dungeons are, and that's something I brought into D&D because this is me explaining why I like physical maps. Because Theater of the Mind, I can explain to you, that lever over there does X, Y, and Z. Well, you're going to ask me later, what the fuck does that lever do? Because you're going to be too busy doing with this, this next mechanic of the puzzle.
Or you forget it's even there.
Yeah, fucking lever? Oh yeah, that lever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like maps, because I need to know spatially. I need my players to see where they are. And I noticed that once I started doing that, because I used to be theater of the mind, but my players were more tactile and more physical items. So I started to do physical stuff, and that really got them engaged because they were able to actually see it.
Right. I agree. There are situations where the theater of the mind still works, in my opinion. Though there's that chase scene we did not too long ago recently, and I think that I would have been better served to, because the traffic's so dynamic and always moving all the time. I think it would have been okay for me to just make it like car chases. Exactly. I think it would have been okay to make it theater of the mind, and I should have done that. You
Yeah,
got it
I can see
last
chase
time.
scenes.
Yeah,
Chase scenes are probably one of the best ones to use for that.
I tried to do it with like a map, a battle map, and I didn't like the way it turned out.
Well, the fast that's something I was going to say too. Fast paced situations,
Right.
that are role play heavy. I don't think maps are as useful. I find them to be a little bit more clunky, because that's your players really need to be thinking about, we're moving. So if you're moving, things are blurry anyway. You're not going to really know what the fuck's around you.
Right.
But I like to use theater of the mind in places where, if I'm trying to get someone to, like, if I'm trying to relay emotion, or I'm trying to relay the heaviness of the situation, that's when theater of the mind comes in for me.
I agree. That's a really good call. Yeah,
because you can. It's something that Mercer said on one of his on a podcast I listened to recently.
Oh, really? That
talking about the smell of a place. Instead of just describing what it looks like, what does it smell like? What does the air feel like? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it raining? All of those different things to help paint a real picture that someone can just close their eyes and think, okay, my feet are fucking wet. I'm annoyed. It's humid. I can't fucking breathe very well. This sucks. I don't want to be here. Their character goes into that mindset. And that's where theater of the mind is very powerful. But combat, just straight up fucking beat 'em up combat,
tactical.
I gotta have tactical.
I hear you. Yeah, and I really like what I was hearing there with, like, theater of the mind is good when the main focus is trying to relay some sort of deep emotion, and the tactical combat is when you're trying to get something more an analytical, like, puzzle done.
Right.
So,
speaking of puzzles, do you do puzzles and props?
In D&D, I do more. To me, in Cyberpunk, the puzzles are more about, like, what the fuck every character's motivation is, and that's
okay.
I don't have them, like, solve, like, some button pushes to get through a door. I mean, I guess it's different because most places don't set up some sort of weird puzzle to get through somewhere in Cyberpunk.
Be like hacking a terminal versus an ancient gate that's been locked by magic.
Right, exactly.
I think that's one of the reasons I'm such a sucker for D&D, is because I can do crazy shit like that.
Yeah, you get away with it better in D&D. Just says the puzzle of how to take out Sony, and that's what I'm talking about. They're trying to take out this gang member, but not directly killing him, but rather bring him down in some method.
So that ties into villain writing, which is something that again, I'm not a villainous person, so it's hard for me to, like, write like that. But I found that thinking about it like a puzzle, you place pieces, like, for example, in our last episode, the main villain they've been chasing for so long showed up in town and became basically in public, just out in public view, was like, hey, I'm here. We're here on behalf of the Empire. Fuck you. I see you. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. He charmed the leader of the town, and then started enacting a plan to try to frame one of the characters and put them in jail. Well, that shit went belly up because they ended up pickpocketing him, stealing the item that he needed to, use to get this plan to unfold, and he ran because they cornered him.
Right.
So it was like a political intrigue episode where they were like
Nice.
trying to figure out what he was doing there, why he was out in public, and that's where I started learning that, hey, this is kind of like a puzzle in a room. It's just a little different. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Moxie would have 100% killed him, just saying. Yeah, well, you can't just put bullets in all your problems. All right?
I beg to differ.
Sometimes how it feels as a GM.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why are you just killing everything?
So let me ask you, what do you like about 5e? Like, as far as, have you played any other games in 5e besides like D&D type of stuff? Have you played like the Cthulhu? Have you ever heard of? Have you seen it?
I have seen it. No, I haven't played anything other than Dungeons and Dragons 5e.
The Cthulhu, they did a 5e conversion of Cthulhu, and it is great.
Really?
Yes, I've got the source book somewhere around here.
Okay.
We're going to do that for
so
our...
it must be, they must have made it like a class-based things, right? Like you'd have, what are the classes then?
It's like historian, dock worker. I mean, it's broken up into basic realistic type of things.
Okay.
But what they did is they took out of the DMG, they took the sanity table,
okay,
and just put it in Cthulhu's setting, because
Sure.
Dungeon Master's Guide has a sanity thing to it already.
Yeah.
And they just kind of took that, and then they took the way that Cthulhu handles sanity and just bunched it together. And basically, you're trying to survive sanity. Like,
Okay.
your health means dick, your strength means dick, your fighting ability means absolutely nothing. It's about how strong you are mentally to get through what you're going through.
Well,
It's basically
very much like
the one shots are written in a way of, can you survive this shit without going bananas? And it's great.
Okay.
I love it.
That sounds interesting. That's a setting I've been interested in attempting, but it feels like that might be one that it would be better served playing with a really good GM to start, so I can really get the feel of it first. And I just don't know any GMs to run it.
It's horror is my bag. Like,
Nice.
I went for Curse of Strahd first because I love horror, scary gothic campaigns.
Cool.
Oh, and another thing, I have the lights in here in my room.
Oh yeah.
They change.
Yeah, I did notice that
with
on
my
your stream.
app.
Right.
So when I run Cthulhu, I have like a green and like yellowish hue that I change the lights to, and when they go underground, I shift it to a purple, so it like sets that overhead tone, man.
Oh, very cool.
If you live closer, dude, I would absolutely run a Cthulhu.
I know,
campaign.
yeah, it's a
I
shame.
mean, we should even try it remote sometime. I mean, this is not bad. I could probably get along with this.
If you have the setup right, like the video, in my opinion, it makes it possible. For me, the voice alone doesn't do enough, and I don't think that you can really convey emotion through it. And hands down, in person is the best way to experience tabletop role playing. And I'm not trying to like knock anybody who has to do it that way. It's not what I'm saying. Like, you got to get it out however you can. Just my preference is certainly in person. If I'm GMing, it's either in person or with a video chat.
Yeah, well, that's what me and Matt were talking about today. This, like, being in person, the one thing that we have versus like being separated. And again, it's just not my bag. I've always had issues with it because I've always had shit audio or something's been going,
Sure.
or they have bad internet or something.
Right.
But with in person, that energy in the room, like whenever I'm DMing, I am animated.
Sure.
I talk to people, I act things out, and they feel that energy come off of you. And whenever they like are interacting and talking to themselves in character, that energy is coming off of them as well. So they're like, it's a communal thing. And honestly, man, it builds camaraderie in a way that I'm very happy to say that, like, my group, I love my group. I absolutely love them. Every one of them. They drive me crazy because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
But
Love you guys.
I look forward to every 2 weeks sitting down here and just having a good time, man.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Love it. You guys have a good flow though. Like y'all have a really good flow.
Yeah, we have built a really good rapport with each other, and I think everybody really understands each other quite well. So it's nice. I love my group, and what we do on Saves vs. Death is just more than I could have ever imagined it'd be. It's just better than I thought it was going to be, because I'm really apprehensive towards the online thing because I've done it before and it's been terrible. But that's just maybe because I was with people I didn't really know very well, didn't trust. I'm not sure, but these guys I love. All of them are fantastic, and just,
you can tell. I mean, you can definitely tell that you're not just slobbing out words. Like you guys have good rapport back and forth, and it flows really well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Thanks, man. Okay, just says, I have recently started looking into Hunter the Reckoning, and I'm having fun looking and learning about that horror element as the main focus. World of Darkness is hands down one of my most favorite settings ever. Hunter I never really got into, but I was really into Mage the Awakening, the Ascension, and then Vampire the Masquerade.
Vampire.
I love Vampire, dude. It's so good.
So good. So good. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know that system.
Oh, you don't?
You
gotta play it at least once, man. It's fucking cool. I know people are like, ooh, vampires, but it's fucking legit. It's dark and it's...
Oh, no, I love Vampire. I meant the other one. I didn't know it.
Oh, Mage.
That one.
Yeah, so what World of Darkness has done, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like a bunch of, like, historians, like... historians got together, made a role-playing game, and made it about, the dark folklore of different places, and just brought all these, like, real elements into it and crafted their own story with it. It's just so fucking good.
Have you seen, speaking of that, have you ever heard of the Old Gods of Appalachia?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, fucking look it up.
Okay.
I'm not shitting you. It is a 5e setting based on a podcast that I listen to, and it's fucking incredible. Incredible.
Okay.
It's about horror. That. It's a horror podcast. I found it when I was listening to Tannis. Tannis, the Black Tapes. What was the other one? Tannis, Black Tapes. There's another one. Rabbits was another one they did. But it's all Pacific Northwest Studios, and they do these intense, like, thriller type podcasts, and I got fucking addicted to them, man. Especially Tannis. Holy shit! But I ran across the Old Gods of Appalachia, and it was such a good podcast. They turned it into an RPG system. So,
okay,
check it out.
All right, cool. I'll have to check that one out. That sounds cool. I would really like to get better at my horror storytelling ability. I usually tell things in, like, this... I know it's weird, but I have this tendency to go, like, a more epic fantasy type. Even in my cyberpunk games, they tend to be, at least some point, pretty epic. But horror is something I think I struggle with to really, like, convey. So having something to look at would be good.
I just think about what scares the shit out of me. That's what I'm just, I try to think, like, how would I be scared in this situation?
Things that scare the shit out of me are horribly mundane, like crippling self-doubt or...
I ran out of gas on the way to the station.
Well, I think of more extreme things like just failing at life. That really scares me.
Yeah, well, yeah, that scares all of us.
I know. I can't
Yeah,
think
I mean,
of
you
any
bring-
situation where I've been like super scared about something that isn't just brutally real.
Now, horror is a hard one because it's so visceral.
Yeah.
It really, and like you have to really think to your like, you got to kind of get nauseated when you start telling that story, and you got to be ready for that because it's and you can't tell like spooky ghost stories because nobody gives a fuck about that.
Right.
You talk about somebody eating their own leg off, that changes the game a bit.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
is scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're tied to a wall with a fucking hacksaw and
See, my mind didn't
handcuff.
even go there, which is like maybe part of the reason why I struggle.
Yeah, I watched a lot of horror growing up. I watched.
Fair.
I still to this day. My buddy Nick tells me all the time. He's like, "You should do You should do streaming, playing horror games because it's absolutely hilarious." I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that because I hate being scared. I hate being terrified.
Well, bye, Jess. Thank you for coming in and chatting with us. Appreciate it.
Bye, Jess.
I creep my wife out so much during a RP that we had to take a 5, is what game says.
Fantastic.
That's nice.
That's winning at life.
That is winning. At least GMing. Maybe life.
Yeah. Right. Shit. No, we were thinking about doing a situational, like take a break from our campaign and do like a 4-shot during October or maybe a 2-shot or something, horror based. So
2-shot would make sense, yeah, because you only do.
that'd be kind of cool. The one thing I've been trying to figure out is getting like a digital presence into a physical environment presence. That's the one, because I got a friend of mine that lives in North Carolina. And it's hard for us to get communication and talk. Like we talk on the phone, but he has like shit for internet, and he can't get good internet because of where he's at.
I know.
Yeah, so I really want him to play like NPCs and stuff, but he just can't because he can't connect. So
Are you talking about Nick?
remotely, yeah. Because I was thinking about plugging him in, like putting him on an iPad and like setting him in front of everybody so he could, NPC.
Dude, I love that guy, and his voices are amazing. I think you're talking about Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, no, Nick.
Yeah.
Fucking
Nick.
love that guy. Tell him I said hey. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Um,
for real. He was supposed to. Nick's actually he moved to. Well, him and his wife. His wife's a travel nurse. They picked up and got a camper and bought a truck, and they're just out roaming the country now. So
nice.
but I want to get him in because he's.
Yeah.
That the fishing guy, not Victor, but Frederick, the fishing guy. He was supposed to play that NPC.
Oh, well, you did a great job.
Internet working.
But I said you did a great job, but I could see why you'd want him to do it. He's got some pretty hysterical voices.
Dude, he is so funny. And like he playing Sea of Thieves. I don't know if you've seen any of the shit me and him did on there, but my God.
I played DayZ with him for a little bit. That's where I got his voices from. He does some funny shit.
Oh, did he introduce you to OJ Sampson?
Yes, he did. No, that was you. I thought you were OJ Sampson.
I was OJ Sampson.
Yeah.
OJ got him a shotgun. Yeah, we played that. That clip I put on Facebook actually of OJ meeting some people at the trade post. Has like, I don't know, a couple hundred views.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's fucking great. I would have kept that going for a long time, man, but we couldn't. It turned into the toxicity, with the admins, and I was like, God, every fucking game.
Yeah. I don't play on that medium really at all anymore. Actually, I don't at all. I just do this. I like this. I like what I'm doing here.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is my safe space, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I thrive. Like, you know how it is. You can, I mean, me and you both were good admins, and we still got fucking tossed the shit. Even, you couldn't be fair to everybody. There's no way.
Right.
Because there's always some conflicting back and forth, But it's much better to be in this space. I can say that.
Yeah.
Your community is very, very, very positive. I've noticed.
Yeah, we definitely try to promote, positivity, and I just don't want any of that negative shit in there.
No, no, me neither.
Take it
Me
somewhere else.
neither. Right.
But yeah, been good. Yeah, I like my community. I think they're all awesome, and they all are all rock stars, and they're so cool.
So what you got planned next? Anything big for the year coming?
For the campaign, or would
Well, just the stream in general. Are you going to do anything? I mean, is this a common occurrence? This talking?
I won't say common. We are going to attempt to do it maybe at least once a month to start. But we are doing a giveaway right now. We're trying to reach 100 followers, and once we do that, we're going to give away a copy of Cyberpunk Red, a physical copy.
Fantastic.
And then we have some other giveaways planned in the future, but we haven't released anything about them, so they're still under. Honestly, we haven't worked out the details yet. We don't know what we're doing for them. So, but yeah, we have.
Yeah, man, I noticed that
giveaways.
you guys had a format that I did not. I have. My opening is just so fucking lame compared to you guys. You guys got like all these different, come check us out here and over here and do, and I'm like, hey, welcome to the stream. Let's fucking go.
I mean, that works too.
Yeah.
Maybe people get tired of hearing me for like 20 minutes ramble on.
Dude, I was immediately caught off guard. Like, wow, you guys have got everything kind of in a tight container. But I mean, I'm trying to get there, but my brain is so scattered. It's fucking hard to do that. So I'm getting better about it, but it's real hard.
Hey man, you have taken the hardest step, which is to just fucking do it.
I know. I told my group, I was like, guys, listen, I'm just gonna start recording this shit, and I'm gonna start throwing it up there. And if people start watching, great. If they don't, even better. We'll just have like 2 people watching for the rest of our lives, and I don't give a shit. But I mean, I want it to be documented because my kids are coming up. Mine's oldest is about to be 7. My youngest is about to be 5. They're getting to the age where they're going to start wanting to play this kind of stuff. They already watch YouTube.
Right.
So to them, I'm a fucking rock star. Like, oh, you got a Twitch channel? You got a YouTube channel? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I don't have any subscribers, but it's fine. You don't need to know that.
No.
I have 31.
My son loved that I was on Twitch for the first stream. And then after that, he's like, I'm done with it. He's bored with it. He's like, yes, Dad, I know that you do that.
Yeah. Mine just came down here a minute ago, and she ran back off. Oh, about an hour ago now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This seems like it seems like a good space to take off. It's much more comfortable than where it was when I was doing other things with like Conan and stuff. Because I was up for hours on the end, troubleshooting this, fixing that. With this, I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
I'm just with my friends.
More rewarding. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
yeah.
Chill
Absolutely.
with your friends. I think that's the right way to go. My opinion.
Yeah. Next time we come to Colorado,
yeah, hit me up, man.
I'll hit you up.
Yeah, I'd love to get a beer. I don't think we've ever met in person.
No, we haven't. My wife was actually up there in June. She went to.
You guys come up here, don't you? With Nick, don't you? Or is that right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
We're going to Utah this year. Zion National Park.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, because we take a Thanksgiving vacation, and we're gonna take our kids up there to do that.
Cool.
But in June of next year, me and Holly are gonna come up for a running camp because we both run, distance run. So she does trail running. I don't do that yet, but I'm working on it.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna come up there to that camp, and we'll be there for about a week. So I'll holler at you when we get up there.
Definitely do.
And swing by.
Yeah. As far as your stream goes, I mean, you'll get better. That's all. It's just a learning curve, and you'll find things that you like, things that you don't.
Well, I think people people attach to that too, right? They see where you started and they're like, this guy started here and now look where they're at.
Right. Yeah, they do.
But
I've noticed people already like comment like they went back to they've been watching the current episodes. They went back to the first episodes and they immediately say, "Oh my God, you've come such a long way." And I'm like,
right,
yes,
right.
we have. Yeah,
That feels good.
it does feel good. It feels awesome. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm trying to get there.
Games is one of the players on my stream. He lives around here too. He says, "Give me a heads up," and he'll join us for a beer. So,
Got it, man. I'm down.
Yeah, let me know.
I love being social.
All right, I think this is a good time to wrap. We've had a really good conversation.
Absolutely, man.
Been streaming for like 2 hours, so. But it was good to see you, buddy. Thanks for
You too, man.
coming on. And
Absolutely.
I'll keep on watching your stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick yours on this Saturday.
This
At what
Saturday.
time?
We play at 10 Eastern, so
10 Eastern, so 9.
9 your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We kick on about 6, and we usually go to about midnight.
Oh, okay. So you probably.
I'll catch you on the rerun on that.
Cool.
And obviously the same. But I've noticed there's a lot of views coming out of ours. I have no idea who the fuck's watching my videos, but whoever you are, thanks. Appreciate it. Sorry the audio sucks. We're working on it. Working on it hard as we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, if for sure we're gonna try to do tabletop night, which is August the 20th. Let me make sure I'm right about that. August 20th. Yeah, we're gonna try to do a take a break from the campaign and do a fundraiser. I'm also gonna have the fundraising stuff up this time around for Extra Life. So if your community could spread that around, maybe you could let some folks know. That'd be amazing because I would love to get some donations in. It goes to our local hospital here in Little Rock.
That sounds good. Yeah, give me some details on Discord so that way first I have a place to look or send people to, and then so I fucking remember it.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I'll send it to you.
Cool.
Probably tomorrow morning when I get up.
All right, buddy.
I got to do a few more tests here and see how things sound.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I will see you later, man. Thanks again. Well,
all right, buddy.
We'll chat another time, I'm
thanks
sure.
for letting me get on here.
Of course, yeah. And back at you. I'll see ya.
Take it easy, dude.
Bye, everybody. Oh.